State your name.
Samuel Edward Fulber,
Age.
28,
What do you do for work, Sam?
superintendent for a construction company.
And what are you diagnosed with?
ADHD and false memory OCD.
Okay. Okay, Sam, I'm going to ask you a series of questions about how ADHD affects both your life and work life.
Okay.
Are there like specific symptoms of ADHD that make it more challenging for you to do work or just go about your day?
No, honestly, I feel like for what I do per se, in construction, it makes it much easier actually to do what I have to do because it's always on the go and moving around constantly.
So how do you manage to switch your attention and your focus to certain tasks?
I make sure I have a to-do list on what I need to know that needs to get done on certain dates, and I just mark it off. And if I miss something that day, I just roll it over to the next day.
Do you find it easier to focus on things that you're passionate about, or does your attention wander regardless?
When I'm more passionate, I'm more focused and laser on what's needed to be done.
Okay, so you don't switch.
No.
Okay. How do you cope with the feeling of being overwhelmed?
Sometimes I either get, aggressive, but not around people, just to myself, or I try to avoid being aggressive and just breathing and just thinking outside of what else I could do to help fix and solve a solution.
Do you feel like there was any time where your ADHD stops you from achieving your goals, or did you push past it?
No, for the most part, push past.
That's good. Is there like a specific times of days where your ADHD feels like it acts up more, you have more symptoms?
If you can realize, I forgot to do this or that, it's just an everyday thing for a person with ADHD.
Does ADHD symptoms make you feel exhausted and burned out?
No, I don't think so.
And constantly having stuff on your mind?
No.
No. How does ADHD affect your relationships and social interactions?
I don't think it does because me having ADHD, it makes me more active and more approachable to people and be able to continue having a conversation. I always have something to say.
So other people use medications to cope with their ADHD. Do you?
Yeah, no, I do not.
What are your other outlets?
Like boxing or video games sometimes.
So you prefer physical activities?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a few questions about your false memory disorder, if that's okay.
Okay.
So how does the false memory disorder impact your ability to recall events accurately?
Because I think that it's right what I'm telling them. People are showing me other different things that are making it more clear that they're right and I'm wrong.
How do you navigate those doubts? Do you resort to anger? Do you get physical?
No.
No?
No, I don't take it to heart.
Okay. Do you mostly have, the memories you struggle with, is it past events, conversations, or other details?
Other details?
If things don't add up, you will know?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have certain triggers for you that makes it hard for you to tell whether or not your memories are real and whether or not they're fake?
Yeah, because my friends or so will have photos or messages or say or so.
Okay. Do you ever communicate with other people just to see if your memory is accurate?
Not really. I just go about with what I believe in until proven otherwise.
Okay, so then my next question is do you need photos or people to verify your memories?
Basically, yeah, just to make it, okay, cool, you're right, I'm wrong.
Gotcha. Does it affect your emotional response when you recall something correctly? If someone points out, no, you're wrong, does it affect you emotionally?
Yeah, because then that's when I bring up, okay, well, prove it to me that I'm wrong. Show me how I'm wrong.
Okay. Do you have a specific situation or memory where your story was different from somebody else's?
No. I'm
No?
sorry, I don't.
Okay. What kind of support or strategies do you find helpful when dealing with your memory, your false memory disorder?
Well, say it again, I'm sorry.
What kind of support or strategies do you find helpful when dealing with your false memory disorder?
Like pictures of events that have happened, documentation, just showing.
Okay. I have one more question for you, and this is kind of like an overall question of what both your disorders. Do you wish that others understood better about what it's like living with ADHD and false memory disorders?
Yes and no. It all depends on the person themselves if they're really that interested about it. Because I don't really think it's, I think a lot of people have it without even understanding or recognizing that they actually have those type of symptoms.
So you're saying a lot of people go undiagnosed.
Undiagnosed, yeah.
And do you feel like
Because it's not like a big impact on their life to the point that's gonna stop them from achieving something that they want. They may use it as an excuse, but for me, I use it as an.
Hi guys, I just wanted to give you my perspective of what it's like living with someone who has ADHD and false memory OCD. A lot of questions that I usually get from people is like, how do I manage our daily tasks together? We do have a 3-month-old, so a routine is definitely needed for both our baby and us. So establishing that routine works for all of us, and especially like I try to give him simple tasks that I know that he will finish before I ask him to do another favor or task for me. How do I help him stay organized? Like he mentioned in the video, he does keep a to-do list, so I try to implement that same strategy so he does not get sidetracked. So usually when he leaves for work in the morning, I go over, do you have your keys? Do you have your wallet? So because he gets distracted super easily. How do we handle situations where memory and disputes lead to argument? Honestly, this happens very, very often. We both have one rule though. If we feel like we're gonna explode, we need to step away and take a breather. Another question that I usually get is like, how do you respond when he's convinced that the false memory is real? As hard as it was in the first time we met, I got to understand him throughout the years. I am the calm and collective one, and try to explain to him that what he believes is not real. And it takes time for him to understand, like, okay, yeah, it's my mind and not the actual situation. How do we handle situations where memory and disputes lead to argument? Honestly, this happens very, very often. We both have one rule though. If we feel like we're gonna explode, we need to step away and take a breather instead of letting the situation get out of hand, or even worse. What's one thing you wish people understood about living with someone who has both ADHD and false memory OCD? This is a this is the most important question, because I do feel like a lot of people should understand that he is capable of doing things on his own. And I feel like a lot of people look at our relationship and think that I'm always cleaning up after him or finishing things that he just doesn't finish, when in reality it's just because he just can't stay focused. And then the times where he does make up scenarios in his head, and I try to like step aside with him and figure it out. But at the end of the day, like, they don't know what goes through his head, and it's something that he doesn't do intentionally. It's all a learning experience. Being with him has taught me to be patient and focused, because whatever he misses, I got. Thank you guys.